I was sort of like told when to cry and told how to say and told what to do, and I was very good. I can look back at some things that happened that I thought it was the worst time of my life, and now I can see that that was what it got me here.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Paul Tully with FYI Podcast, Finding Your Inspiration, where we find it and we follow it. Today, I'm in New York City, the Big Apple, the city that never sleeps. There's so many names for it, and I'm excited. I'm here with, I am going to butcher this amazing, talented, incredible woman's name because it's so beautiful. My speech can't handle it. Evgeniya Radilova.
Yes, very close.
Who's got skills?
Got it.
I love it. Where is that name from? Where are you from originally?
I'm from Bulgaria. The name is Greek.
The name is Greek.
Yeah, everybody think it's Russian, but it's Greek.
I thought it was Russian.
Yeah.
I was fortunate to meet this incredible woman last year at the Chelsea Film Festival. Her film went up against mine. We were both nominated for Best Film, and she blew me out of the water. Your film was so good. No. No, your film was incredible.
Thank you.
I was a huge fan. I fell in love with your work. Let's talk about you.
All right.
Yes, let's talk about you. Tell us about you. Where are you from?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. I was born in Bulgaria in a family of artists. My mom was an actress, one of the most famous actresses from my country. My dad was a director. He won a bunch of awards from Montreal and Cannes back in the day, and that's why he later on got a green card with his artist visa. And he created movies that didn't have effects, at the time. Effects didn't exist. But then, for example, he had a music video with 100 dancers with flashlights in a cave in Bulgaria, which looks like, this light show and just this very authentic techniques that he created on his own. And so, I was the third tree on the left in his movies. And then I was pretty much brought up in the theater because my mom didn't even want to get a absence of leave for motherhood. So she breastfed me 45th day at the theater in between scenes.
Okay, so your mom's breastfeeding in between. This is in the theater.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, in Bulgaria at the time. We only have 10 theaters. A little bit better now with smaller private companies.
Yeah.
But when my mom was really active, she played in one of the best theaters. They had shows for years and years and years. The same production ran for 600 times. And
wow.
I've seen a show, maybe 300 times.
Incredible.
And I knew every single line. Sometimes I actually saved moments where like prop fell and nobody saw. And then I was like trying to give them, mimics and like,
Yeah.
So yeah.
I was just gonna say, as a student of the craft, watching something that many times, let me ask you two questions. One, did you find it different every time? And two, what was it like? Did you find? That's what I was asked. Did you find a lot of moments that were missed, like in the choices of the actors? Or was it repetition that was the same? Did they find new moments and? Like, I'm a fan of when I'm doing theater, it's the repetition, but it's finding those new nuances throughout the exchange of the scene with my scene partner. It's how it always morphs into something different for me every night, I hope.
Yeah. Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
I think that Bulgarian theater is a little more sort of, I don't know how to say, stern or repetitive. We don't have this sort of exploration the way we do with the actor studio here, which is weird because we do come from Stanislavski, but I feel like the way the culture is and the language, it's a little more harsh. And my mom was quite a dedicated actor, and I feel like she did find different things, but a lot of the times was, the same repetitive show.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So they were on it. They were hitting.
They were on it. They were on it. And one of the beauties of me being in New York later on and wanting to go back to studying acting, because I also became quite famous at a very young age, and I felt like, of course, I'm a star. I know it all. And my mom brought me up as a star. It was nothing in between. You're just a star. Which was good and bad. But yeah, I came to the States and I just wanted to find out how are they so natural. We don't have a lot of that in Bulgaria.
Okay.
It's a little more Eastern European.
Yeah. So you come to the States. What brought you to this? Did you come with family or did you come once you were?
My angels saved me, really. I was getting too restricted back home. As I mentioned, I became very famous as I got picked up for one of the main TV shows that ran 3 years on the TV.
Wow.
Monday through Friday, 8 to 8:30 p.m. prime national television. And I didn't go to school on Mondays because we had to shoot, 5 shows for the next week. And then we had in my academy, my acting academy. And we had press come in and knock on the door, like, can we have any just for like a little interview, And a lot of people just became incredibly jealous. There's something in Bulgaria, unfortunately, that when you're good, they don't praise you, which is here we have a lot of that, They're just jealous and try to just erase you from the face of the earth. So I was struggling a lot with that because I felt very lonely. I had amazing friends, and they were the skaters and Billabong, Carcraft, Bad Boys, I had beautiful friends and I loved so much. But even in school, for the directing department at the end, they choose actors to be in their place. No one chose me. I took it very personal. And so, success was a good thing, but it came with its trouble.
Yeah.
My childhood was very hard back home. So I just felt like I was going to lose my sanity if something new didn't happen. And my mom called me. I was at my seaside on vacation, which is the only time I'm away from family, away from trouble. And she says, you want a green card, you have to come back earlier. And I said, I'm not coming back from my seaside vacation. Yeah. I had no idea what that means. And of course I came back and I just flew on a plane for the first time. Wow. At 21, and I landed in New York.
Wow. Yeah. How was that experience? Scary on the plane for the first time? Or were you just so excited? I loved it.
I really loved it. I felt so constrained back home, and I feel like I'm a world child, and I love new experiences, and I think that because I had the strength to seek for that, I was giving that opportunity to come. Because my sister, for example, she lost it as she was over 21. And I received the green card a week before I reached 21, which is, even if you get it on your birthday, you lose it.
Wow,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
So you got it a week before.
Yeah.
So it was like
a sign,
yeah.
Out of here, bye.
Right. I'm on the move.
Yeah.
So you come to New York and you've been in New York since?
Yes.
Okay, but have you traveled within the States though since you've been here and seen?
I have, yeah, okay. Yeah. I traveled in a few different countries as well.
Okay.
I love it. I just don't see myself living anywhere else.
Right.
And it's scaring me now with this crazy world, how things are going.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what is plan B? I just don't know yet, but who knows? New York is, to me, everything home. Yeah.
Mm. So what are you doing now? You're in this city. Tell us what's life like here?
Sure. I'm juggling a few things, of course, to be able to survive in New York. Acting comes and goes. Especially for the big jobs. I do have an accent, so I guess that matters. I found 6 years ago production and producing and directing and writing and sort of got a hold back in my career, because I became a SAG member and equity, and I had 5 years of strong TV work, and then just 2-3 years was just very stale, and you just feel like you have to either change a profession or like makes you feel bad about yourself, and you just don't know why, and then it just trickles because also you get burned out. You audition. I was going on my bike everywhere, like 10 auditions a day,
right?
And then you get one, and so finding directing and writing just sort of really gave me a new perspective of art and I just started making movies with tiny little budgets, $200 for pizza and pizza and water, and they were accepted very well at festivals. My first movie, Patrick, which is about a elderly Broadway actor who I met actually at the Actors Studio. His name is Patrick Boldov. I met him on the stage with Ellen Burstyn when we played the Cherry Orchard, and I just fell in love with this older gentleman at the time. He was, I believe, 80.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah, and
still doing the work.
Still doing the work.
Wonderful.
He just passed recently.
Sorry.
Yeah, but he had a good life.
Yeah.
92 years old. He passed. So this movie won 10 awards, I think, from festivals for everything, story and best actor and directing, and I was like, what?
Wow.
And I just kept creating. I got the bug, and that also doesn't pay though. So
Right.
that's the
Yeah.
that's the issue there. But a few years ago, I had a conversation with my angels, and I was like, okay, listen, I love acting, I love my career, but I need to be a businesswoman. I need to create a business that would work for me, that makes me feel good, and then I can free my soul and my heart to go back to the work, and audition, and because the financial aspect, it is what it is,
Sure.
it's there. So through my wildfire performance and whips, I built a company, Evgeniya Entertainment, and I started sending performers out, and now I have about 100 performers that I book all over town. We make shows and entertain and
Wow.
This is sort of my little stable job. And now I'm really excited. The movie, hopefully Lost Cause, finally getting a distribution
Yes.
out soon.
Yay.
Festival season is over. And I'm writing a new TV series called, or I guess it would be indie series. Hopefully it will be a TV series.
Sure.
And it's called Detectives, and it comes from my life and a job that I did back home, which was a secretary in a private detective's office, and I was 18.
You really had that job? Oh,
Yeah.
the stories
Oh
that
my
you
God.
probably had.
Oh
Oh, my goodness.
Oh my God. And not only that, but the cover for the two guys that worked there, that took their job very seriously, which is just like the most hilarious thing.
The comedy?
Just imagine the comedy of the two private detectives, the Bulgarian private detectives. And so their cover was a dentist office.
Okay.
That's where the name will come from, Detectives, because every time, and that's what they told me, like, I say, I can pick up the phone and you write the message down and you let us know what they say. Yeah, I worked there for the summer, and it was absolutely epic, and I really want to do something fun, and also I love that because their goal, I'm switching it a little bit because I would play one of the detectives, but their goal would be the undercover, right?
Okay.
So they would just go full on into these costumes and characters and everything, you know, to
find
go
the
to
cheating
cases.
husband.
Yeah.
The mustache.
Yeah.
So before I talk about your masterful cause work and your costuming and the fiery whips, first of all, because my question is, are you bringing that experience into this new series with costume? Because when I saw Lost Cause, I mean, the costuming was incredible.
We were just incredibly lucky that the cosplayers came with their original cosplay. Wow. And that's what we created. We created original self-made superheroes because...
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it is cosplay and there's no real superpowers.
What got you into cosplay, though?
I have a friend who's one of the producers, Jeff Georges Smith, who's an incredible digital photographer. And he came to me 4 or 5 years ago now, and he was like, okay, I'm shooting Vampirella, and the only one that can do it is you. And I'm like, who? So I said, yeah, of course. I'm always down to do different things and to do.
At this time, you're but you're an actress.
Yes,
you're not a cosplayer.
No,
so when he comes to you, you're like, what? So it's a character for you at first. You're like,
totally,
oh, okay.
Totally. And I researched Vampirella, which is this, you know, sexy vampire, and then I put on the costume, and I just, you know, I mean, not every day you wear this kind of thing, and then I was like, wait, is it me? I was like, wow.
What did that feel like? Was it empowering to see yourself?
Absolutely, yeah. It's just something with the costume as well, and the wig, and the power of the, you know, how big and broad this character could be, and just I fell in love with her. You know, the moment I put the last, you know, the teeth in, I just became her, and the photos were so incredible that I just said I have to make this into a movie, and my goal was to go to Dynamite, show them the pictures, and get the rights and do Vampirella.
Yeah.
And then Robin De La Vida, who's you know, the executive producer of Lost Cause and the director, is his first feature. Like for us, is our first big producing project. He called me and said, "What are these pictures?" And he said, and then he said, "Okay, let's meet and talk." And I said, "Okay." And so he goes like, "What's your idea with this?" I said, "I'm gonna go get the rights." And he's like, "Okay, let me think." And I said, "Okay." So he calls me and said, "I've got it." And I'm like, "Okay." So we meet again, and he goes, well, in my opinion, vampires don't exist, and I don't want to make a movie about vampires, and we're gonna make a movie about you, because you can look like a vampire and you can also look like a bum." And I was like, where have you been my whole life?
Right.
You know, because I do think I'm a very versatile actor, and I can change, and that sometimes in the stereotypes of American typecasting is you know, it's hard to convince somebody that, you know, I could do it, or, you know, with my accent, or it could be a leading role. So he saw the diversity of what I can do, and he just highlighted that, which was, you know, quite amazing for me. And obviously we added all the other skills that with fire and expanding with the whips, and just became this magical land.
I'm so glad that he's seen the potential in your talent, because you're definitely a force, and your talent was it was an incredible performance.
Oh, thank you.
No, it really was. I was honored to be nominated with you guys, and when you guys won that, I was like, yeah, like you killed that. What the heck did you learn? What's the whips? Where's this? Is this something? I mean, where did you learn? Was this something you learned? Is it? I mean, you clearly. The whips and the fire.
Came later. The whips came later because I couldn't do a lot of fire. But so I've always loved fire. Like, you know, the ocean and fire, I just zone out. I can relax. It's just my way of meditating. I was never afraid. I was always like the one to set up the fire, you know, and like if we go to camp or something like that. Yeah. And I saw these tourists who were dancing with these fireballs in my center of my town, and I was like, who are you? What is this? I need it.
In Bulgaria.
So in Bulgaria,
this is back
like
home.
I was 15 or something. That's a while back.
Okay.
And I bought it from them. I gave them 15 level, which is hilarious, which is like $7. And they gave me their prop, which is called poi. And so I started to do that in my hometown for fun, just learning on my own. I created sort of like my own technique, because now people that are really technical about it, because I'm not a very technical performer, I just go like crazy and find my own style. Yeah. They're like, how did you do that move? And I'm like, I have no idea. I'm just used to doing that. And so I came to the States. I had zero English. I just came, basically. I was like, I don't speak English. And I had to start working to help my dad right away. My dad was here only at the time. Now they're all back home. And I gave flyers for a job, because that's the only thing you don't need to speak for.
Right.
And it was $6 an hour, and it was like an hour and a half or 2 hours away somewhere in New Jersey. And one of the days I see this fire crew performers come in with these mohawks and costumes built out of metal, and everything was on fire. And I just like, literally my jaw just hit the floor, and I was like, me, I do fire, me do. And that was, and this is when I, first of all, I kept looking at the prop, and I'm like, how come your ball is still on it? Like, and this is when I learned about Kevlar, Wow. I didn't know about Kevlar before that. It's very Bulgarian. And the meeting Flambeau, Chris Flambeau, it's the name of my fire partner. They took me under their wing right away. He took me on a tour in Texas, in 7 different towns in Texas, which was paid, and this and that. And I saw palm trees for the first time in my life. We were joking, cactuses and palm trees, and it just opened a whole new world in New York for me. I came back from this trip, and he said, come and pick up your check. And I'm at this place called The Box. But it's like a garage door. It doesn't, okay. And I walk in, and it's this beautiful little French cabaret theater with lovely red curtains. And it's just this magical place. And, because Flambeau is like Flambeau, so he kind of like forgot to tell the place that he's just leaving for a week. He's got another gig. And the boss of the place was like, well, you can't leave before you finding me another fire performer. And he was like, well, she's right there. She could do it. And so the next day I went, auditioned. The moment I did my first movement, they were like, booked. And they put me on Tuesday. So our shows were Tuesday to Saturday for a year and a half. And it was only for red carpet people. Wow. It was from Janet Jackson, Sting, Demi Moore, like everyone. I mean, now I'm not starstruck as much as then, Right. Now it's more... I've been able to work with some people, and it's like, well, you're a person, I'm a person. We all got our journey. But at the time, I'm dancing for Janet Jackson, who's right there, and everybody's singing Happy Birthday, Janet, and I'm swinging my fire thing. It was incredible. It just put me right through, all these different sort of jobs. I mean, I did waitressing as well, because that was a late night job.
Yeah.
So basically, after a year and a half, I was like, okay, I'm done. I need my life. I need my daytime life. And I decided to go back to school. So I graduated. I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and so on and so on.
Now you decide, okay, I want to further the education. You decide to go to school. You study the craft.
Yes. It was very important for me, because I love my family and I love my mother and everything. And I think she was an incredible actress. However, I feel like she not necessarily let me find my own way, I was sort of like told when to cry and told how to say and told what to do, and I was very good, And I'm like, but I'm crying. What's your problem? Like, It's great. And then I went to my academy, and my teachers were like, you're very special, but you're full. And I just couldn't understand. And all of a sudden, I started to hear like my mother's voice and coming out of me. And I'm like, well, this is not how I laugh. This is how my mother laughs. And it was just this wild, like, just like I feel like I just got reborn again, you know, and just finding the true, authentic self of me was a goal. And I feel like 10 years later, just now, I'm starting to finally sort of, I mean, I've been truthful and, you know, doing my thing, but deep down in my core, I'm like, I think I know what I like myself and what I don't, or how I would react, or, you know, my clear vision of my own thoughts and my own needs and desires and wants. And so that was a big one.
Finding all that, what does that come from? What kind of work did you have to do? Or was that just a lot of self-awareness work? Was that through therapy? Was that just through experiences?
Therapy I just started actually a few weeks ago. I never did it before, but I was definitely my own therapist, and it was a lot of what made me feel very uncomfortable, but I didn't know, like going to auditions or just even, you know, making a decision about something. And it was like, well, where is that decision coming from? Is it coming from what your heart truly wants, or it comes from what your mother is going to say, or how, you know, and it just had such a big influence on me. And little by little, you know, and I made a bunch of mistakes, which was actually where it showed me, you know, who I am, and that you're not gonna die if you make a mistake, you know, just get up and go. And I was a little bit brought up like mistakes are not, you know, like everything was just bad, it just you start. And so a lot of shortcuts and just the journey and just enjoying the actual part of the process.
Right.
And I just started relaxing with that and just finding my own truth. It's hard to pinpoint exactly how I did it, but trying to just isolate these different voices that I had in my head, and talking to my friends, and they're like, well, that's not you right now, it's somebody else is talking, or so.
It's hard when somebody says, what specific moment was it that you started finding your you know, like your authentic self? And it's just so I feel like it's such an accumulation of things, and the work we do and the journey that makes it all worth it. And I don't know if we ever fully hit that destination, right? It's just a continuous process of finding our powers and
you just, you know, I guess you're never gonna reach anywhere. You stop caring about what's not important, in a sense, or wasting your time. And I had a lot of what other people think about me. And it wasn't just like, oh, look at me, I'm so pretty or whatever, but genuinely, truthfully, it was like for audition or anything, my thought was like, oh, like, you know, and now I'm doing it for me. Yeah. You know. And right. It's just so like and it's not like, oh my God, it's just actually it's calm. It's calm and it's cool, and it's like,
how great is that? I'm in the exact same. How great is that when you actually as an artist own that and go, I'm not making a movie for you. I'm not cutting a movie for you. I'm making a movie for me. It's not even for the audience. You know, it's a therapeutic process for me. And if the audience loves it and they roll with it, great. And if there's something, I feel like the industry makes us into these clones and empty shells of people that are constantly trying to figure out what's going to sell and what's marketable and what's good and what's this. I love when an actor walks in and there's when they have that thing, you know, where they come in, they do the work, they drop it in the room, and they walk out, and you're like, whew, Or when they come in and they want to sell the room and how nice they are and hi, thank you for having me. It's like, don't even talk to me. Just come in. Let me see you execute. I love
so much of that. And it was crazy because I was also like really emotional and really tapping into real emotion. And I'm crying and I'm this and that. And it's just not there, you know. It wasn't me. It was like the way I was sort of brought up. We had a lot of, that's a whole nother podcast. But we had a difficult upbringing at home, just Bulgarian life, and a lot of that kind of pleasing others was a thing back then.
What I've seen of you now and the work you put up, it's intriguing. It's I mean, the characters you create and what's cool about it, I'm gonna be honest. What's cool about it is, I didn't know anything about cosplay. And when I still don't know anything about it aside from just seeing your film. And when I seen the outfits and the cosplay, I'm just thinking, oh, okay, this is somebody and then when I watched the work, I was like, oh no, this is, so that you bringing in these two worlds and putting them into a film. It's really awesome, and I think the film's going to live and it's going to have an audience, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. I want to make a second movie or
for sure
expanded. Yeah.
No, for sure, and it deserves a budget, and because what you guys did with as an indie level was incredible. It looked studio level film, so I could imagine what you could do.
It was
with some studio money.
Yeah, it was magic. The whole thing was magical, and it was 270 people, cast and crew, and this is where I felt so at home, you know, because for the first time, we started from a short film, right, and 3 pages, and into pilot and into the feature, and he was like, oh, we need this, oh, boom, I have it, oh, we need that, boom, I have it, and then I was like, oh, is that producing? Okay, I think I'm pretty good at that. And then, you know, so it was we were so blessed to have everybody and so authentic. A bunch of the stuff we shot in the Bronx in my, you know, for like $300 location, where all the fight scenes are at the end of the movie. And that's where I moved. When I moved to New York, I moved to the last stop of 4 train, Woodlawn, and my room was looking at this big cemetery and stuff. It was amazing. It's just, it was far. And then I talked to my friend from up there, and I'm like, dude, I need an alley where I can do big fire whips where we can't have the police. He's like, oh, Annie, come here to the back of your building. And I'm like, oh, of course. You know, so
made it happen.
Yeah.
Somebody out there that, you know, is trying to find their way, or they might have an idea what they want to do, give them some words, some advice.
Sure. Well, thank you so much, first of all, for having me. It's an honor. And I would say never give up. Never give up. Just keep on going, because looking back now, I mean, I'm not like much older, but I'm a little bit older, and I can look back at some things that happened that I thought it was the worst time of my life. And now I can see that was what it got me here. So never give up. Pain is important, and pain is my inspiration. Hold that dear, and just keep on going.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share your story.
My pleasure.
It was a pleasure. Hopefully there'll be a part 2 eventually.
I would love
that. All right, everybody. This is Paul Tully, FYI Podcast. Some of the things I took out of this incredible interview. You know, I love when I get to meet people and I hear their stories. I mean, here's a story of a woman who's coming all the way from Bulgaria, who shares some of the same dreams, inspirations, and being a fan of the craft like I am. So that's number one, just knowing that there's people all around the world that share the same love for the art and for the craft and for the work. Because I definitely do that, so I'm inspired by that first and foremost. Second, what I took from this was she mentioned that she was, had to get by, had to eat. She was waitressing, and she took a skill that she found at 15 years old, all the way from back home. She seen some tourists, they were doing something with some fire. So I guess what I took from that is that we have an accumulation of skills that we build upon. Sometimes you don't even know what your skill is. It could be something that you learned at 10 years old that if you really seek and find it in yourself, you might be able to use that skill to get by and to create an outlet that could supplement you chasing and doing what it is you really want to do. So don't get stuck in punching a clock all the time. Use your mind. Punching a clock is not a problem. Please believe, work, pay the bills, put food on the table. But if you know you have a dream, especially in this industry, you got to think outside the box. You got to find other ways to make the bills get met, because you got to be available to do a lot of things that don't pay at first, and eventually they will. So anyways, I hope you took something from this interview. I definitely did. This is FYI, Finding Your Inspiration, where we find it and we follow it. Next time.
You should never stress about the problems you be facing. Everybody in the mud on the struggle trying to make it. Look into the mirror and you see your motivation. Then you step into the world and you find your inspiration. I'm finding inspiration, and once I get a hold of it, I'll never get complacent. Look into the mirror and you see the motivation. Then you step into the world and you find your inspiration.